Good evening, students. So, a lot of students have been messaging me about the UGC NET notification that they have released on 28th of March early in the morning. So, what is that notification all about? So, we are going to discuss in this video, and I want to share with you a news that this UGC NET notification has increased the value of UGC NET certificate a lot. Okay, so earlier there were different PhD entrance tests for different universities, like Punjab University has its own entrance test. Okay, for example, the state universities in Rajasthan, Mohanlal Sukhadia University. Okay, so they have their own test. Okay, a lot of state universities, a lot of central universities, they have a lot of their own tests. Okay, so now they have just cancelled out all these tests and increased the weightage of NET certificate, like the marks that you are going to get in the NET certificate, in the NET examination, your scorecard, that is the 70% weightage of that NET score will help you to get into the PhD admission in different universities. So there will be one single test for all the PhD entrance tests for all the PhD admission, and that is NET. Okay, NET value has increased so much, and now randomly student cannot go and ask the favor from their teachers, like I am from Punjab University, give me the seat of Punjab University. They cannot say like this. Okay, whether you are from Punjab University, Delhi University, doesn't matter. If you have good NET scorecard, then only you are going to get the seat. All right, so earlier if you have NET certificate, you are forever valid to sit in any PhD interviews. You are exempted to sit in any written test for if you have NET qualified. But now your NET qualification score is calculated from now onwards only for 1 year, valid for PhD entrance. Okay, for PhD interviews, but it is not valid for the next year. Okay, but yes, of course, assistant professor forever, your NET certificate is valid forever if you have NET certificate. Okay, but in case you want to go for the PhD, you have to sit every year for the NET examination in case you want to have good score. Okay, so the third category is admission to PhD only. Okay, so you can say that there can be three cutoffs. First cutoff is of JRF, as you have seen. The second cutoff is of NET, 65% JRF, 60% NET. You can say 55% for PhD admissions. Okay, so minimum 55% you must have. Okay, so you must have some score so that you can sit for the PhD interviews. Now they have also done this, 70% of this score will be calculated in the overall score of PhD admissions. 30% is for the interview. This is a good news because it will be less corruption, because earlier universities conduct their own entrance test and the teachers have their own settings with the candidates and they give them good marks. So 70% of the cutoff weightage is from written test, but now the 70% will be calculated from your NET scorecard. Okay, so that's a good news. There will be less corruption. 30% interview, of course there corruption will be there, 30% interview, but that will have less impact if you have good NET score. Okay, so now note, and no one can directly sit into the PhD admissions if they do not have the good score in NET. So it is very compulsory, it is very important that you must have at least good score in the NET. For example, the cutoff is 60 percentage for UGC NET. No worries if you have not scored 60 percentage. If you have failed to crack the NET examination, no worries, but at least you must have 58%, 57%, 56%, because that is the score which is going to help you to get admission into PhD program. Okay, so let's check it out once again. So here we go with the March 27 notification. Okay, so in this notification from here to here, they have only written about how they are going to conduct one PhD admission test for all the central universities, for all the universities. Okay, the NET score can be used for admissions to PhD programs in place of entrance test conducted by different universities, HEIs. So from June 2024, this is the eligibility criteria. We have three categories. So in category 1, the same as we have already discussed, we have been seeing in the last 10 years, PhD plus JRF. Okay, so you have JRF, it is very easy for you to get into the PhD seat. Okay, earlier it was also there, like if you have JRF, it becomes a cakewalk for you to get PhD seat in any university. Okay, whatever the rules say, let them say, but if you are JRF, you have the scholarship, you will easily get the PhD seat in any university if you have that JRF certificate. Okay, so that is the category 1. So for example, the cutoff for JRF is 65%. Let's assume that. So you are getting both the certificate, NET plus JRF. Okay, and from that NET plus JRF, of course, NET certificate is for the teaching assistant job. JRF is to get the admission into PhD. Category 2, that is only for NET. If you have NET, you will be appointed as assistant professor, but for PhD, your NET score will be calculated based on your scorecard. Okay, for category 3, it is neither NET, it is neither assistant professor. This chart will give you a more clear idea. For example, this one, JRF, then you will have JRF, okay, assistant professor, yes, PhD admissions, yes, okay. If you have NET, of course, if you have NET only, then you are not eligible for JRF fellowship program. But yes, this scorecard is valid forever for the job of assistant professor. But you are also eligible for PhD admission. But here they have written about that marks obtained in NET by the candidates in category 2 and 3 will be valid for 1 year for admission to PhD. So if you qualify NET, you are only eligible for PhD admission for 1 year. Your scorecard is eligible for 1 year, category 2 and 3. But again, your scorecard is eligible forever for assistant professor job. Okay, you are eligible for assistant professor job forever. So JRF qualified students will get the PhD admission seat, and a lot of universities prefer JRF so that they do not have to spend expenses on the candidate. Okay, so for students who qualifies in category 2 and category 3, 70% of weightage will be given to that written test and 30% will be given to admission to PhD program interview. Okay, and the next one is category 2 and 3 will be only valid for 1 year. Okay, so don't worry about it. It is valid for 1 year. That means 6 plus 6, 12 months. So every university opens their admission twice a year, spring season, autumn season, and that is again going to help you a lot. Okay, you will get serious about PhD because you will have good score in NET, so you are not going to miss the opportunity to get admission into PhD program. Okay, for instance, I never, for example, I never thought about PhD seat because I'm an assistant professor and I'm very happy with that assistant professor. But now if I have to appear again, I will think about it. Yes, my NET score is not only helpful to get the seat for assistant professor, but it is very helpful to get the seat in PhD. So now the chances of getting PhD has increased drastically for you if you have good score in NET. Okay, for now the jack will not work, the corruption will not work. Okay, the people do not do the setting behind the scenes, they do not go to the backstage, they do not give the bribery, they do not be no nepotism, because 70% of the weightage will come from the NET certificate. Okay, so that's another thing. If there is corruption in the NET examination, that's another thing. But this NET certification value has increased drastically, and it is surely going to help you get the seat in the PhD admissions, because many students complain like they are not able to get any PhD seats. But now 70% of the weightage, even your interview doesn't go well, like if you have 30% of interview, if you are getting 10% in that interview, doesn't matter, you have good PhD like NET, good NET scorecard. So that NET scorecard will help you get the seat. Okay, the overall cutoff will be declared. It is not now only based on interview. So that's what all I have to share in this video. I will see you soon in the next video. That's it for this. Thank you.